Hello everyone and a very warm welcome to another lesson. In this lesson, we are going to learn about IELTS speaking part 0. We are going to learn how to introduce yourself when you meet the examiner. I'm going to upload this as the first segment. And then I'm going to upload 3 more segments about how to introduce yourself when you meet the examiner. Now, this is really your IELTS speaking part 0. So on the day that you have your IELTS speaking test, you're going to travel to the center, or maybe you're going to do a computer-based exam. And if you're going to go to an IELTS speaking center, you're going to wait. Once you arrive there, you're going to register yourself, and then you're going to wait outside the room where you're supposed to have your IELTS speaking test. And then after a few minutes, the examiner is going to come out of the room and invite you to go inside. And then they're going to tell you, take a seat, please. Take a seat, please. Or they're going to say, please take a seat. Now, when the examiner says that to you, you should say, thank you. The examiner is going to use their hand and they're going to say, please take a seat. Or the examiner is going to say, take a seat. So they're inviting you to sit down. What should you say? You should say, thank you. When the examiner says, take a seat, please, or please take a seat, you should say, thank you as you go to sit down. The next thing the examiner is going to do is introduce himself or herself to you. The examiner is going to let you know what he or she is called, and the examiner is going to do that by saying, good morning or good afternoon. Good morning. My name is James Clark. What's your full name? Or, could you tell me your full name? So after the examiner has introduced himself or herself, after the examiner has told you his or her name, they're then going to ask you your names. And the examiner is going to do that by saying, what's your full name? What's your full name? Or the examiner can ask, could you tell me your full name? Could you tell me your full name? You can answer that question in different ways. When the examiner says, what's your full name? You can say, my name's John Kip Stamport. My name's John Kip Stamport. Remember to use the contracted form of my name's. Instead of saying my name is John Kip Stamport, instead of saying my name is, use the contracted form and say my name's John Kip Stamport. My name's John Kip Stamport. Or if the examiner asks you, could you tell me your full name? Could you tell me your full name? You can answer that question by saying, my name's Rita Paula Alessandro. My name's Rita Paula Alessandro. My name's, okay? My name's Rita Paula Alessandro. After that, we move on to number 3. The examiner is going to ask you, what can I call you? What can I call you? Now, you have given the examiner your full name. Some people have two names. It could be your name is John Stampot. So your first name is John and your last name is Stampot. Kip is your middle name. Some people have two names. Some people have three names. If you have three names, the name in the middle, that is the second name, is your second name, okay? So your first name is John, your middle name is Kip, and Stampot is your surname. Rita is your first name. What is your first name? My first name is Rita. What is your surname? My surname is Alessandro. And then Paula is your middle name, the one that is in the middle, okay? So the examiner is going to ask you, what can I call you? In other words, the examiner wants to know, how can I address you? Now, to answer that question, you can say, you can call me Rita. You can call me Rita. You can call me Rita. Or you can say, just call me John. Just call me John. What can I call you? You can call me Rita. What can I call you? Just call me John. What can I call you? Please call me John. What can I call you? Please call me John. So you have three choices there. You can begin your answer by saying, you can call me, then you say your name. Or you can say, just call me, and then you say your name. Or you can say, please call me, and then you say your name. What can I call you? You can call me Rita. What can I call you? Just call me John. What can I call you? Please call me John. So you have three choices there to practice. Number 4. The examiner is going to ask you, where are you from? Where are you from? Or the examiner can ask you, could you tell me where you come from? Could you tell me where you come from? Where are you from? Could you tell me where you come from? Now, to answer that question, you can say, okay, I'm from a small city in France called Nantes. I'm from a small city in France called Nantes. I'm from a small city in France called Nantes. Or you can say, I come from Thailand. I come from Thailand. I'm from Cairo, which is the capital city of Egypt. I'm from Cairo, which is the capital city of Egypt. Now, remember, this is IELTS Speaking Part 0. It's kind of an introduction. You're getting to know each other, okay? You want to keep it very simple. You want to keep your answers very simple because the first impression matters. You don't want to make any mistakes right at the beginning when you're introducing yourself to the examiner. So don't complicate your answers. Keep them short, simple, and precise. Where are you from? I come from Thailand. Where are you from? I come from Cairo. Where are you from? I come from France. Okay? You can also say, where are you from? I'm from a small city in France called Nantes. I'm from a small city in France called Nantes. I'm from Cairo, which is the capital city of Egypt. Now, if you want to give an extra better impression of yourself, you can use the last one. I'm from Cairo, which is the capital city of Egypt. But please practice so that when you say it, it comes out naturally. Where are you from? I'm from Cairo, which is the capital city of Egypt. I'm from Cairo, which is the capital city of Egypt. Where are you from? Could you tell me where you come from? I'm from a small city in France called Nantes. Where are you from? I come from Thailand. So keep it very simple, direct, and straightforward. Number 5. The examiner is going to ask for your ID. Now, your ID is your identification. It could be your passport, for example. So the examiner is going to say, "Could I see your ID, please?" Could I see your ID, please? Your ID is your identification. So the examiner will say ID or identification. Both of them mean exactly the same. Could I see your ID, please? Could I see your identification, please? Could I see your identification, please? Now, you can answer that question by saying, "Here you are." Or the examiner can also ask you, "Can you show me your identification, please? Can you show me your identification? Could I see your ID, please? Could I see your identification, please? Can you show me your identification?" Then you can say, "Here you are." Could I see your ID, please? Here you are. Could I see your ID, please? Sure, there you are. Now, as you're giving the ID to the examiner, that is when you say the words. Could I see your ID, please? Here you are. Could I see your identification, please? Sure, there you are. Can you show me your identification? Of course, here it is. Could I see your ID, please? Of course, here it is. Could I see your identification, please? Sure, there you are. Can you show me your identification? Here you are. Okay, so you have those 3 choices. Here you are. Sure, there you are. Of course, here it is. Any of those 3 answers would be excellent. Keep it very, very precise, very brief. This is not the time for you to start throwing in difficult vocabulary, advanced vocabulary. No, this is IELTS speaking part 0. You're supposed to be introducing yourself to the examiner. You're getting to know each other. The examiner is going to tell you his or her name. You're going to tell the examiner your name. You're going to tell the examiner where you come from. You're going to tell the examiner what he or she can call you, and you're going to let the examiner see your ID. This is really getting to know each other. So you want to make sure that you create an excellent, a really good impression of yourself. You don't want to make any mistakes at this point. So the best thing to do that, the best way to achieve that is keep your answers very simple, very straightforward. Okay, that is going to give the examiner a very good impression of yourself, because it will give the examiner the chance to see that, hey, you speak perfect English, no grammatical mistakes. Okay, but if you start showing off at this point, there is a chance that you may throw in a few words here and there, and by so doing, you might end up making a mistake in your grammar, in your subject-verb agreement, for example. So keep it very simple. Memorize these phrases. Memorize and practice them. Okay, because it is one thing to know what to say and another one to say it correctly. And how do you make sure that you say it correctly? You practice. Okay, so when the examiner says to you, "Take a seat, please," what should you say? Take a seat, please. You should say, "Thank you." When the examiner says to you, "Good morning, my name is James Clark. What's your full name?" What should you say? "My name's John Kip Stampot. My name's Rita Paula Alessandro." When the examiner says to you, "What can I call you?" What should you say? "What can I call you?" You should say, "You can call me Rita." Or you can say, "Just call me John." Or you can say, "Please call me John." Number 4, when the examiner says to you, "Where are you from?" Could you tell me where you come from? What should you say? Where are you from? I'm from a small city in France called Nantes. Could you tell me where you come from? I come from Thailand. Where are you from? I'm from Cairo, which is the capital city of Egypt. And then number 5, when the examiner says to you, "Could I see your ID, please?" Could I see your ID, please? Could I see your identification, please? What should you say? Here you are. Can you show me your identification? Sure, there you are. Sure, there you are. Could I see your identification, please? Of course, here it is. Of course, here it is. So there you go. That's how you introduce yourself to the examiner when they ask you these 5 questions. You're guaranteed of being asked these 5 questions during your IELTS speaking test. In the next video, I'm going to tell you how to introduce yourself when the examiner asks questions about your hometown, about your home, and about your work and your study. So if you want to know how to introduce yourself when the examiner asks you those questions about your home, about your hometown, about your work, about your study, then subscribe to the channel and don't forget to turn your notification bell on so that you know as soon as I upload the video. Now, if you found this video helpful at all, please give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to share the video with other people so that they can also benefit from the content. Now, thank you very much, everyone, and I shall see you in our next video. Bye-bye.